and welcome to Hard Copy, where we bring you the people behind the news. I'm Maupe Ogun Yusuf. Now, this week, a number of significant occurrences took place, bordering around politics and security. First, after months of speculation with regards to his ambition, President Muhammadu Buhari finally spoke on his intention to seek re-election. Then he traveled out to the United Kingdom, and while there, he gave what may be regarded as his first body of thought on the farmers and herdsmen clashes. President Buhari said, quote, "The problem is even older than us. It has always been there, but now made worse by the influx of armed gunmen from the Sahel region into different parts of West Africa's sub-region. These gunmen were trained and armed by Muammar Gaddafi of Libya. When he was killed, the gunmen escaped with their arms. We encountered some of them fighting with Boko Haram. Herdsmen that we used to know carried only sticks and maybe a cutlass to clear the way, but these ones now carry sophisticated weapons. The problem is not religious, but sociological and economic. But we are working on solutions." End of quote. In this edition of Hard Copy, we wrap up our conversation with Bishop Matthew Kukah, the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese. Last week, he had spoken on corruption in Nigeria, the federal government's lotus list, and amnesty for Boko Haram. This week, he speaks on the political landscape and why he's optimistic for upcoming candidates, the problem with ethnicity in Nigeria, and the yet-to-end clashes between farmers and herdsmen in the country. Your Lordship, at the beginning of this year, at a book launch, you were quoted to have said, "If you know Nigerians well, rather than thinking about the solution to the problem, we're waiting for a few men who govern Nigeria to tell us that they have found a silver bullet, and then we all gather around." That was a quote at a book launch. Now, there have been a number of outbursts this year. President Obasanjo wrote his famous letter dismissing both the APC and the PDP and asking for a third force. We've seen a number of movements come up, some of them as a result, some of them before that time. We've also seen broadcasts from very fiery pastors, talking about the state of the nation. Do you think that one of the reasons why we're fascinated with them is because we're always looking for solutions, and we think that these people will definitely have solutions?
Well, we have never given up on the messianic quest, and we Nigerians like to outsource our responsibilities. Occasionally we outsource them to God, which is why we believe God will do everything for us. But we've never given up on this whole notion that somehow the business of fixing Nigeria resides with somebody who is hiding somewhere. Now, that speaks to the issue of the quality and processes of leadership recruitment in Nigeria. We have a country where we've always been surprised. And as I've said somewhere, leaders just drop on parachutes. You don't know where Buhari came from retirement, Obasanjo came from prison, Yaradua was ready to go to Ahmadu Bello to teach chemistry, Jonathan was ready to finish his job and go back to NNDC or whatever it was, and so on and so forth. We've never seen, and that's why I'm happy to see somebody like Kingsley Moghalu, my friend, trying to articulate a position. I said, listen, I want you to vote me because this is what I stand for. We've never had any of those things. We are going into elections now. Nobody can tell you who is going to be governor. Nigerians are not worried about should Buhari run, should he not run. And this feeds into the culture of corruption.
Okay.
And the Nigerian politician doesn't have to work so hard, because those who are going to bring you on a wheelchair have already got the resources. So they tell you, and people will tell you, for example, I hear the story that when they went to Burma prison to bring Obasanjo, he said, "Look, I don't have money. Nobody will vote for me." They said, no, don't worry, the matter will be fixed. How
much work do you think they have to do to ensure that they secure the buy-in of the average Nigerian?
Let me tell you something. And I've thought through Nigeria's politics a little bit. In another 5 years, 10 years at most, we will have what you call a level playing field in Nigerian politics.
By that, you mean?
By which I mean, after President Buhari goes, whether he stays another 4 years or whatever, what is going to make politics a bit more respectable is that, for the first time, the godfathers will almost die a natural death. because there will be nobody in northern Nigeria that can stand up and command the kind of attention that Buhari has commanded. Everyone will now have to roll up their sleeves and work bloody hard. You won't find them in the southeast, you won't find them in the southwest. Politics of Godfatherism is what this is what the major conveyor belt of corruption in Nigeria. And this is why we wait for the Redeemer, but we know that the Redeemer is going to come tainted. Even if he's a Redeemer, the kind of baggage he's carrying, because, you know, the Hausa people say in the proverb, if you take money from a leper, you must give leper a haircut. You can't take his money and suddenly discover he's a leper. So, because people come with this heavy baggage, this is why the politics gets to the point it is. Regionalism, ethnicity, in the case of Buhari, of course, Islam, really, you know, the North, those things have become important. But after, we are going to face very sooner than later, and I meet a lot of exceptionally brilliant young people in Nigeria. And I know that we're getting to a point in which this power as donation that we can give and take away, whether it is we retired military officers or we the money bags, those things are going to gradually come to an end. And what you're going to have is that, and I'm hoping sooner than later, that young people will come together and say, you know what, we must govern this country because we went to Harvard, we went to the Kennedy School, or we must govern this country because we went to Yale, we must govern this country because we went to Ibadan, we went to Kukah, we went to... Certificates will replace ethnicity. Competence will then replace other factors. Because for now, all you have to do is to look for a godfather who will adopt you. And it doesn't matter what you know or don't know.
But that is happening everywhere.